Welcome to this guided visualization where you will explore the energy fields for you and your animals, and more importantly, explore how you are connecting with one another energetically. I've created this simple yet profound visualization to help you become more aware of the energetic connection you share with your pet animals. You can use this to help you to better understand the energy connection between you and your animals. And what it can also do is allow you to facilitate a change with the energy for you and your animals to restore a sense of harmony for all. So let's get prepared. You are already in a place where you will not be disturbed, which will then allow you to focus on the visualization. You can either choose to let your animals be with you, or you can hold them in your mind. But if the animals are with you, please do make sure that the room is open so that they can choose to stay or leave during the visualization practice. It's better if you are sitting rather than lying down. This will allow you to be relaxed and focused at the same time, as long as you're comfortable. This is where you can begin to just allow yourself and give yourself permission to start the visualization. Let's focus on your breath. With your breath, you can start to bring a sense of calm to your mind and body. Focusing on your breath will help you to tune inwards and to a point where information from other sources can enter your awareness. You can choose to keep your eyes open, or you can close it for this visualization. The image slides are there if you need a visual prompt, as I guide you, so all you have to do is listen to my voice. If you choose to keep your eyes open, then make sure you lower and soften your gaze. Keep your gaze lowered and soft. Breath. Take 3 deep breaths in and out now. Breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. Breathe deep into your belly. Pause for 1 or 2 seconds and then breathe out. Allow your out breath to last longer than your in breath. Breathing in and out. As you breathe in, feel yourself bringing in refreshing and light energy. And as you breathe out, you are letting go of what no longer serves you. Keeping it simple, keeping it relaxed. You don't have to force anything or try too hard. Just breathing in and breathing out. One more time, breathing in, pause, and breathe out. Now visualize or imagine you and your animals inside one bubble. Allow the imagery to come to you. This may change, so give it some time to settle. It doesn't matter if the image doesn't make sense. Allow your imagination to show you what it needs to. Visualizing you and your animals inside one bubble. Be open to information that is new to you, giving you a fresh perspective, and allowing the imagery to come to you. Start to notice this bubble. What does it look like? What shape does it have? What is the size of the bubble? Does it have a color? Maybe it has more than one color. Can you see through it? Is it transparent? Are there symbols or markings on the bubble? And when you reach out to touch it, what does it feel like? Is it smooth, rough? Does it have a texture? Is it rigid or flexible? Soft or hard? Again, allowing the imagery to come to you. Is this bubble floating or is it staying still? How does it feel inside the bubble? Does it feel spacious or is it actually quite crowded? Perhaps it even has a certain odor, scent or fragrance within the bubble. Are you able to identify it? Or there may be sounds you can hear within the bubble. Just being very aware of yourself and your animals in this one main bubble. And all you're doing is observing and noticing and allowing the imagery to come to you. Now, when you have a clear vision of this one bubble, imagine yourself in your own bubble within this shared bubble. Also imagine this for each of your animals. Each one of them having their own bubble around them, and all of you being within this one main bubble. You are all in your own bubble within this one main bubble. Allowing the imagery to come to you. It may change, so give it some time to settle. Once again, it doesn't matter if the image does not make sense. Allow your imagination to show you what it needs to. This will help your visualization to be open to information that is new to you, a fresh perspective. Let's start with your bubble, your individual bubble. What does it look like? What does it feel like? Now take a look at your animal's bubble. Do they look similar or different? Do they look similar or different to yours or to one another? If you have more than one animal, then you may wish to pause the recording to give you more time to visualize each animal's individual bubbles. And then you can return to the visualization when you're ready. So pause now if you have more than one animal. Then you're observing what their bubble looks like. Notice whether your bubbles touch or is there space between your bubbles. I want you to play around in your bubbles. See what happens when you move towards each other. What happens when you move your bubble towards your animal? Or what if your animal moves their bubble towards yours? If you have more than one animal, allow them to move towards each other. Move towards you. You move towards them. Play around in your bubbles to see what happens. Again, if you have more than one animal, then you may wish to pause the recording to give you more time to visualize each animal's bubbles. What about if you move away or your animals move away from each other? How easy or difficult is it to do this? Do your bubbles overlap? Do they bounce off each other? If you have more than one animal, notice the difference in the movement between your bubbles. Notice if anything changes when your bubble comes closer or move away. If you have more than one animal, again, you may wish to pause the recording to give you more time to visualize each animal's individual bubbles. You are just observing and noticing. You're exploring. You're learning. How does it feel? All these individual bubbles moving towards and away from each other. If you've noticed colors for the bubbles, do the colors change or stay the same? How about the shapes? Are they all the same shape? Or does each animal and you have your own unique looking bubble? Now, allow each bubble to move outside of that one bubble that you share. Each bubble to move outside of that main bubble that you share. Just let it happen. Trust that it can happen. Is this easy? Are you able to move out of that main bubble? Or do you experience a resistance? How did this resistance show up? Are there any emotions or feelings coming up for you as you move outside of that one main bubble? And the same with your animals as they too move outside of that one main bubble. If you have more than one animal, then you may wish to pause the recording to give you more time to visualize each animal's individual bubbles. Remember, it's very important to just observe, only noting, no judgment. You are here to learn, to allow for a new perspective to come to you, allowing it all to happen without you trying. Allowing your imagination to give you the information that you need. As you leave the main bubble, do your animals follow you in their bubble? Are you all now outside of that main bubble that you shared? Or are one or two of your animals remaining inside the main bubble? Allow the information to come to you. What's the distance between each of your bubbles from one another? If you have more than one animal, then you may wish to pause the recording to give you more time to visualize each animal's individual bubbles. So let's continue to play with this. Dance with these bubbles for a while, becoming aware of where you and your animal connect and how easy it is, or maybe not so easy. Imagine going back into that main bubble that you all shared initially with maybe just one of your animals or one or two of your animals. What happens when you move into the main bubble? Do they follow you? Or does one of your animal stay out? Do the movements change with each animal entering or leaving? These bubbles are giving you information. The distance between each bubble, whether they're too close, too far apart, or just right. If you have more than one animal, then you may wish to pause the recording to give you more time to visualize each animal's individual bubbles. Give yourself time to observe and see what comes up. See if you feel there needs to be some releasing. Are you too close together? If so, then gently and lovingly release what feels to be the most intense connections, allowing the bubbles to move comfortably away. Doing this with the energy of love and light. Or perhaps you are too far apart from one another. What is it that you need to do in order to bring a connection back if the bubbles are too far from one another? Using the energy of love, draw that bubble towards you. If they're too close or even stuck to you, use the energy to just comfortably move and allow some distance or space that feels right for all of you. Sending loving light to the animal you want to connect more with, and also sending loving light to the animal that you may need a little bit more space from. Always do this from a place of love from your heart. So observing, where are your bubbles in relation to one another? Are you too close or too far apart, or just right? Again, if you have more than one animal, then you may wish to pause the recording to give you more time to visualize each animal's individual bubbles. Spend a few more moments just exploring these energy connections. There's so much information by just observing how you and your animals connect within your bubbles. How you are connecting with one another. When you feel ready, allow yourself and your animals, for all of you, to return into that one main bubble, with a loving space between each one of you, thanking your animals for being with you. Know that you and your animals are safely back into the main bubble that you share. And when you feel ready, I'm going to bring you back to your consciousness, being aware of your physical body, being aware of moving your body, moving your toes and fingers. Have a good stretch and yawn. Feel your feet on the ground. Now thank yourself and your animals for doing this visualization with you. I hope this has given you more insight around the energy connection between you and your animals.